Hello, everyone. Hi. I am really hoping that you can hear and see me okay. If you guys could just comment in the chat thing that you can see me, I'd really appreciate that. Because I haven't done this before, so just bear with me while I figure it out. Um, to me, it looks like the chat is not moving, which is not cool. I'm gonna just type in it. Okay, I can see now it's moving. Monica said, yay. Okay, so I'm guessing that means that you can see me. Maybe the chat's a little delayed. That's okay too. Thank you so much for being here, all of you. This is so cool to get to actually sort of interact in a way. Okay, people are saying that they can hear and see me. Very good. That's good. Okay, so yay. As you know, as you might have seen in the description, today I want to offer a light language blessing to all of us, but also to our world, because as I think you're aware, our world has been very affected lately. So what it is really calling for is peace and unity and these very opposite vibrations of what we've been experiencing. And when I sit down and ask, what can I give to the world? That's something that I can give. So let's just take a moment. We're also going to take a moment to just be and connect collectively, which is something that I do in sessions anyway. And it always helps us hold the space in a lot more light. And yes, it helps you to settle and be in your now moment. So whether you're watching this later at home or you're watching it live with me right now, if you want to join me in just taking a moment, it's just a couple of moments and a little guided kind of beingness going within to your light and to your heart, centering ourselves together. So when you're ready, just make sure first that you're physically comfortable and that you've got what you need, water or a jumper or whatever you need. And then as you settle, we're just going to essentially go within and connect to your inner space. You may like to follow the breath, maybe feeling it and noticing it or listening to it. And as you relax and breathe, we hold an intention to connect to our heart individually, and that we may resonate within one another's hearts together. You might like to place your hands on your heart if that helps you. You may like to breathe into the heart and out of the heart, focusing the breath there in that chest area. And as you connect here, we call in and invite the highest light beings the higher dimensional beings of support and guidance for our earth and for our collective at this time, and all of my spirit guides and angels, and my higher self, all of these beings of love, gentleness, peace, radiating and resonating at love, to please help us, help me fulfill the intention of the highest love unfold in today's live stream. You may like to, if you wish, you can call in your own spiritual team if you would like their support just to be with. Perhaps you have a heart intention for the light language blessing you will receive, or even just your day. You may like to focus on that as well. As we allow light, the natural light within each of us, to radiate and to fill the space in the live stream, the energy may move you if you're a bit like me, and that's completely natural and okay. And as we feel the energy of stillness and light, we also begin to fully enter the now moment, using our beautiful senses. Perhaps you might first feel the weight of the chair beneath you or whatever you're seated on. Feel how it supports against your skin or your body. You might feel something you might be touching or holding. What does it feel like? Is it smooth? Is it a little rough? Maybe you just feel your clothes against your skin. And using our awareness, perhaps we expand to noticing the sounds around us, or even just the sound of the live stream and my voice. And again, we feel the breath entering and departing and arriving again. And gradually, in your own time, you may open your eyes and notice visually what's around you. I see crystals and a big light. Just noticing in yourself what you see. And now we arrive completely in the here and now, arriving to the live stream together, opening your eyes if they were closed in your own time. So, welcome again. I wonder if you notice that the energy feels a little more still, a little more patient. I feel the guides kind of hanging in the back, almost like what is it, in the wings, kind of. So, the first thing that I want to do is we are going to offer this light language blessing. Then we are going to move into the spiritual question and answer portion of things. And I just want to ask again that if you can still hear me and stuff, can you type something in the chat, guys? Because I'm just a little nervous with live stream. So when we're ready, thank you, Monica. Okay, I see you. You wrote yes. When you're ready, we're gonna do light language. For anybody that has not yet heard light language, I'll just give a little intro, which is light language is calling in higher light energy, or rather aligning to higher light energy. The natural flow for most people when they're doing it, they're accessing their natural life force energy in a more full and complete way. You can specifically, like, say, I want to channel this being in their light language and ask them to do light language through you. Most people, though, when we're doing light language, we're channeling and bringing in more of our spirit, the multidimensional aspects of you that have had lives in different places where they speak a different language or a different way. We also are really just pulling in an energy and then allowing it to be the sound that it is, to vibrate out, rather than adding words and like human language, which is often limiting to energy, because we're the only ones out in the universe that have this very like 3D language. We're the only ones that feel like we need it. Really, there's an energetic language, and energy builds on sound and light. So if you take all those pieces, light language starts to make sense. It does sound like gibberish, but that is because we are not taking the energy and trying to find human words. We're just allowing it to be as pure as it possibly can. For that reason, it can be quite powerful, and it can create what you might call activations or healings, releases, all these different things, because when you receive light language and the person doing it receives it as well, your DNA, your etheric parts of your being resonate, like they remember this cosmic kind of energy, and it causes you to start to entrain with that through the law of attraction, which is better understood as the law of mirroring. But it will cause your being to, it's in an invitation to connect to high vibration. So all that does not match that will begin to fall away, and that's what can cause activations and things like that. So as you receive light language now or in the future, just know that if you have any kind of emotional shifting or activation, or spiritual things like receiving intuitive impressions, maybe images in your mind, or sound, or clairsentient type of feeling, that's very natural, and that just means that you're picking up the energy, and that's quite beautiful. So I don't know if you can see, but I did some Lemurian, you can't really see. I did some Lemurian tribal markings on here, because that's the kind of energy that wants to come through today. And that makes a lot of sense when we are considering doing a blessing for the humans of this time and the earth of this time, which is really calling in Lemuria. As we know, Lemuria was a part of our ancient history, but it's more like the essences and the awakened state that we were in at that time is being reactivated. And I've had many lifetimes, a few significant ones on Lemuria as a Lemurian priestess, and also one of my masculine shamanic guides. So it's very natural to me to attune to that. And as we attune to that and we offer that to the earth in the way that we're about to do, it also entrains, or it's toning at what she's already toning at, because the shift is happening more because the earth herself is shifting her vibration. And we just are called to match it, to stay here, to be in the frequencies that we want to be in. So when we do the light language, you can just relax and receive. I also may do a guided visualization part so that we can collectively offer a bit of healing, peace, and unity to our world. It's very intuitive and flow. When I do a kind of guided visualization or something, if that comes through, that's because the spirit guides have decided that that's what's best. And I'm sort of just repeating or channeling what they're guiding us for. So in a moment, when you're ready, you can just do what you do. Be comfortable, be excited, whatever you do. As we begin to call in light. Now we set intention for peace and unity. We allow the highest light and grace to move through our being and to be expressed and embodied in our world. And we offer the sacred, beautiful Gaia, our Earth Mother, all of the light that we can bring that is in the highest alignment for her. And we offer gratitude and sanctity and honoring of the sanctity that she has given us, and a purification of our relationship with her, that we may understand one another fully and completely. May humans embody light to the highest degree that they may, of their free will permission. We awaken peace. We awaken unity. Hoya, 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 ha. Hoya, 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 hu. Allowing the light, allowing the flow, allowing natural breath and rhythm of earth. Return to us, return to light. Our world, our sacred earth mother. Haisha Kariya Karashiana Asanakia Aharakia Ashuru Isakia Ahanaya Manakia Shuru Ahia Ala Shara Ashuru Ahia Akara Muniya Suru, allowing peace to enter the light body. Aha Akia Shuru, Aha Akara Nakya, Isalashi Akaru Akaniu, Ishalakara Karu Anu, Shalakara Karu, Shalakara Karu. Offering peace and blessings to your animal brothers and sisters that walk the earth with you. Hamana Asara Asuru Asaria Ashara Akia Hari Osuru Asinya Akala Shunu Asyamana Aha Isaara Osuru Ikala Shuru Isahia Anaya breathing love, breathing compassion, breathing awareness of your full light body. There is a sacred knowing and a sacred truth in each of us that belongs to the earth and the earth to us. May this awaken in you and celebrate your union and unity with yourselves, all of the light, all of the beings that live upon this earth, the water, the fire, the green grass and earth, the silver, the gold, the metals, the wood, the trees. Remember your heart nature and awakening to waters of remembrance, waters of light. Breathing in the forest air, the natural rhythms of unity with earth. Aligning to light and centering yourself in the natural columns that bestow upon the earth already, sensing and registering them as a natural part of your cosmic being. We are light. We are light people of Gaia, who has restored us and renewed us again and again as we have forgotten and been sleeping upon her. May we awaken into light and truth, and we offer the blessing of richness, purity, cleanliness, and a peaceful harmonic between races, between the life that graciously lives upon the earth. We are blessed to know her And we remember who we are through this blessing. Allowing earth remembrance, allowing light. Shania Kuru Asuru Akyala Shira Isahia Anu Usani Kara Isahia Asara Usale Shikara Usahianuku. Resonating at peace now. The true peace within your being. We awaken to peace, light. We receive with gratitude and sacred heart love of being. As you have received this blessing and this light, be gentle and at ease with yourself. Feel yourself grounded into here, into the earth, into your body and beingness, awakening even more fully into the light that supports and guides you, the light that is already within you. It is pouring through, around and within your being now, because you have allowed, you have chosen the light. Let it become you, with sacred acknowledgement that it is you. And as we close this light language offering and blessing, we're invited now to each individually. You may like to offer a prayer and intention of your own choosing, wording of your own choosing, of love or peace, light, whatever you wish for our world, for humanity, the collective, and for Gaia and all of the life. What do you wish for life that lives here, life itself that we each are. And just affirm that wish or prayer intention to yourself in your mind or out loud as it resonates in your heart. And see and feel your intention. Perhaps you visualize what the world is like as your intention unfolds into being. Perhaps you simply feel those tones within yourself. Perhaps you visualize it as an energy that you offer with sacred love to the world and the space around you. And know that when you breathe that light and life. You breathe that into being, into fruition. Now that this light language blessing and offering has been completed, as you've been connecting to yourself, I invite you to stay there if that's what feels right to you. But you may also, of your choosing, return to here and now, being fully connected to the now moment. And hang on 1 second while I turn on the light. I have to turn on the light. There we go. Okay, guys. So I already have some questions that some people have messaged me, which is really beautiful. So thank you. And I'm going to look at those in a moment. I'm going to scroll up in the chat a little bit just to sort of ensure that I know what's going on and where we're at with questions. Okay. So we do have some in the chat. It's pretty cool. Thank you, everybody. And thank you for participating in this light offering that we have given to the earth. It is really transformative, even if you did it at home, not on live stream. It's beautiful. So I'm going to look at the questions that I have here in my phone because they came in first. And then I'm going to go to the ones in the chat as well. I just saved them in a memo here. So just making sure that I have those here. Okay. If I pause, it's just me checking the chat. I'm just looking in on it. Right now, though, we are going to shift energy a little bit, and we're going to I'm going to fully invite and just align my connection completely as best I can to the higher dimensional beings of light that wanted to really participate in this. They may also just have a message for us that we will hold space for as well as take questions. This is very flow, like, yeah, I think we just need to flow with where we are. So the first thing that I need to convey is that Angel Gabriel is here, and he is saying that we should first see ourselves as awakened already. Seeing yourself as awakened already is of the utmost importance at this time. Allowing your heart to be the guide is necessary because it is the speaker of your truth. And as he's conveying this, I get visions sometimes which help to further the message. And I see us like people in our heart, it's like a compass, and we feel kind of pulled and guided, not by like our headiness, not like, what am I going to do next, like this? And not even by 3D, bodily sort of action or addiction, heart truth. At this time, humanity is calling in its own awakening. It is up to each of us individually and together collectively, but ultimately it is self-responsibility to awaken into truth. And the first step can be understanding that you are, by your very nature of heart and love already. There is nothing you must do, in that you must not edit yourself, shifting or changing yourself like you have not already been here before, for you have many times. There is awakened light stream in you already that pours through. How have you not chosen it? Why have you not chosen it? These are the questions that you may have been afraid to ask. The time is now to call upon yourself, the inner wisdom that knows the answers to these questions with love, with non-judgment. Humanity is awakening because there is a rapid cycle within us. It is not only the earth, it is also a pulling within each of us. And it feels energetically, it's like very magnetic, this rapid energetic momentum of each of humanity, each person has been gearing towards and pulling for and calling to unite with the love center in themselves and the love center in our earth. And I actually see like the core crystal of earth. And I sense that Gabrielle is saying that this is being activated as we activate that core crystal of love within us. This is your higher nature. Allowing it to be your most natural director, the leader of your life, is what will set you free, and it will pull you into the fruition of your dreams much more easily. Choosing it is the choice that you are faced with at this time. Choosing it above fear, above the play that unfolds on this planet before you. Arrive to your center again and again, connecting to the love within that's already here for you. Okay, so it's an important message from Gabrielle, who has been, I've been feeling him around so strong the last, like since I did this, I just feel this thing of like, we're gonna do it, we're gonna do it. I don't know, it's so hard to explain. So let us look at the questions. And the question is going to be answered by spirit, meaning a lot of my higher dimensional guides, but we've also opened it to, there's some Lemurian beings here, more earth-related beings, but they will move in and shift as the question, like, who's best to answer. So this is from Victoria on Instagram. She had a really cool question, which related to something that happened for me as well. So I was like, OMG. So Victoria said that, I was wondering if you heard of anything about the Lemurian seed crystal energy grids going on again. She had a faint feeling about this in her meditation and is trying to find more information on that. Many blessings and gratitude for what you share. Thank you. Okay, so let's just tune into this question. Well, my Lemurian guide is saying that seed, she's just sort of smiling. She's saying the seed is the correct word. Seed is the correct word. This is a time of awakening and remembrance. And the crystals that we are being, that people talk about in regards to Lemuria, these are part of the temples that were at that time. This is a light technology. This is a light giver or bringer. That's what the crystals are, because they hold and contain light information. You are connecting to that, my guide saying, Victoria, you're connecting to that because you have an active role to play in this earth awakening. So you are going to be naturally in a remembrance drawn to the river of cosmic awareness within you. This river image is like that our consciousness is a stream, and within that stream is many multidimensional aspects of ourselves, the lives that you've lived before now, in the future now. There isn't really time, but yes, so my guide is saying that you have Lemurian consciousness embedded within you. I want to talk about these crystals as well, because if you watched my previous video, you may have heard me share about the vision that I had about Lemurian crystals too. Of Lemuria rising out of the ocean, and then these giant crystals like the size of a mountain shooting up out of the earth like Superman's Fortress of Solitude. It was so magical. It was this dark purpley brownish color, and I understood exactly what I think Victoria is picking up as well, that these crystals are returning into our consciousness at this time, meaning that many people have heard of the Akashic Records. This is basically just a field. It can be thought of as records, but really it's just light information. It doesn't have like a place. But the range that humanity can kind of, on a collective way, can access that. Like individually, we can access whatever we want if we can resonate at the right tones. But more fully than ever before, this Lemurian remembrance is being awakened and more accessible to us. So that's why those crystals have come to vision, because they are on the etheric layers of our consciousness. They're there and they're waiting for each of us to access them. So the invitation is to sit in meditation, hold an intention to remember or connect to the Lemurian seed crystals, and let that light unfold. We each are going to have an individual remembrance. I'm just listening to the guides. They're saying on the collective level, it's about flowing into an understanding of who we are, like getting the correct history, guys. So I think that when we connect with them, we're going to have our own remembrance of lives that you had, but also just to have awareness of like, oh, humans were Lemurians once, and that's not like woo-woo, that's just literally the truth. More truthful than our current history. I'm looking at the next questions here. I am going to stick to, I just want to cover the general questions first. Just scrolling. Okay. Just checking the chat too to make sure I stay connected with you guys. So because it pertains to what we're talking about now, I'm going to answer Vilti's question. I can't really pronounce her name, but I want to. I don't know how to say it. I've never known how to say it. Um, okay. Oh, and also Ronya's question about people being in denial lately about current circumstances. Okay, and she was wondering if there's lots of negative, that there's a lot of negative thoughts and doubts. Is that accurate for her too? Vilti's question was about this new Earth that's supposedly coming. Can you tell us more? Does that mean we really have complete free will to leave this old one with all the bad stuff, its propaganda, etc., and go to the heaven on earth type of Earth and free will, and everyone in awake consciousness, and continuing living there as unity? Let's tune in. Well, my guide is answering. She's saying, it is of your choosing. It is of your choosing. She's acknowledging that it's difficult for people to understand that concept, and that the only way that we seem to be able to understand it is division or separation. Like, okay, there's going to be the dark earth over here, and there's going to be the new earth over here. But you have to understand that, my guide is saying, there is a collective reality and there is an individual reality. And the individual influences the collective. And my guide is saying that it's in flux. It's in flux right now. There's a noise out my window, and can you guys just let me know if it gets too much for you, and that you can't hear me? So it is in flux at this time. Your timeline is your own, though. That's the most important part of the answer to that question. Your timeline is your own. The world can be doing its thing and showing its shadow, and you can hold the light at the same time. And I just, on an individual level, I know that there's been a lot going on, but my life right now has been so filled with light and abundance and all of these different things because I have retained my own vibrational frequency and really been practicing that. And even though the collective timeline is in flux, there needs to be this empowerment of I choose what occurs for me. But not denial, you're right, not denial of what has been occurring. You can be both. It's a weird thing, but you can be both. I'm just listening. My guide is saying that it's better for each of us to allow this to play out and continue to really choose your focus on what serves you. Focus on, before all this happened, what were you doing? What were you dreaming? Imagine that comes to full fruition, because it can and it will and it should, the more that you choose it. That's you giving energy to that, but just saying yes and affirming. Anna, I'm just querying the rest of the question. There's not going to be two earths in that very physicalized way. There's going to be a larger division between the, let's say, less awake people and the people who are awakened. You've already seen that division in terms of there's lots of new age people going around. We're being called to be more tribal, to be more community, eco communities, all that different stuff. That's gonna double or triple. And at the same time, the shadow is going to rise. But at a certain point, as that occurs, the light can diminish this shadow. But it takes a little bit of time in terms of buffer time, being third dimensional beings that manifest things. But yeah, think of it more like this division grows greater and greater. And then, yes, at a certain point, there's going to be a tipping point. We really are at a very wobbly tipping point right now. So that's why it's so important for each of us to choose our own timeline and to be in that empowerment of I choose light, I choose sacred earth. The shadow needs to come up and to be cleansed, and we need to not be in denial of that. But there's a way that we can do that where we kind of almost wrap the situation in light and the belief and faith in our continued free will, our continued rights, our continued unity, that transition is happening. And it's really true. If you tune into the earth energetically, there's no stopping her going into her light body more completely. It's just so if you make a practice to join her. I'm just listening to the guides still as well. This everyone in awake consciousness and unity, it can be, it already is. Can you see it in the etheric blueprints already for yourself? Step into that. At a certain point, timelines do diverge. This is that tipping point I'm trying to say. So hold your faith. I'm just looking at the rest of the questions and checking in the chat. Thank you so much, guys, for bringing your questions and your love and your energy. It's really beautiful. So I'm just checking. I think that we might be moving on to more personal questions now, which is okay as well. Okay, here is one last one about that I think pertains to everyone. Monica says that she's had dreams and visions about what could happen with regards to humanity and artificial intelligence, and also that she feels a sense of grave fear, but also responsibility for this happening that is going to occur. What's my or our role in this, and what's the positive intention for this technology takeover? Okay, gonna listen. My guide is saying that the technology itself is us showing ourselves to ourselves. It's a mirroring effect of the level of disconnect that people have already been embodying and resonating at. Mainly, not awake people, people who have been very third dimensional mind based. That's kind of why artificial intelligence, etc., has been is coming up, because I'm just listening. My guide's talking about how there's a choice to allowing your heart to take over, or allowing technology, allowing mind to take over. And those people who are involved in that have allowed the latter. It doesn't have to be that way. I hear you saying that almost in your question, like it's going to happen, there's going to be a technology takeover. Remember what I said about the divide. Yes, technology, there is a very strong, like in terms of timelines, the probability is that it can get stronger, but there's an equal, like, strengthening of enlightening that's occurring as well. And as I said, at a certain point, it says no. So timelines right now, guys, they're so like floppy and flexible right now. When you are hearing about these Earth situations, or from wherever you're getting your information, if it doesn't fill you with empowerment, if it doesn't fill you with like, wow, I can choose my heart, then it may not be connected to heart-based information. It may not be connected to that. Yeah, because just because there is a timeline, we are always creating in every moment. Probability, sure, that's a thing, but the probability can shift at any moment too. So just think about that when you think about what's happening right now and you think about timelines, etc. Just checking questions. Oh, and Monica was asking what's our role in this. Essentially, and also the positive intention is to say no. Like, it gives an opportunity for us to really more, in a very clear, physicalized way, say no, I choose heart or light. It's again being given that choice, because that's what the universe does. It gives you choice again and again to say yes or no. And these situations are a choice to say yes or no. It's the same thing. Our role in this, I'm just listening. My guide is saying is to let your heart guide you, to be an embodied example of that. Okay? The people who are doing those things at the same time as, I can watch that and feel really unhappy or fearful, I also want to be feeling compassion, or that I do at least feel compassion, because think about how lost that is. Think about how much separation that is. Our role can be to wrap everything that happens in love, to be the embodied versions of what you want in the world. That is our role. That's what my guide was saying. Okay. Just checking. Here is more questions. Okay. So I'm just going to pick one from Merjam. I can't say your name either. Miriam? Is it with a J? I don't know. So we are moving more into general or personal questions rather, which is okay. So Miriam's asking something that probably relates to a lot of people though. If one has started to see energy, like fast-moving particles of light, the moving sky, etc., and wishes to expand that and also see auras, which practices would you recommend to support that? And is the energy that people see in the sky just neutral energy? What is it? What is it made of? Okay, so that's really cool that you're seeing light particles and stuff. Yay! Also see auras. What practices would I recommend? Well, I have some ideas, but I'll ask the guides too. The guides are talking about understanding that it's already natural to your vision. Okay, so because they're saying that the energy behind what they're saying is telling me that they're pointing out how when we're like sitting down to do like some psychic practice, we're like, okay, I'm gonna turn it on. I'm gonna we've created this little bit of a separation in our mentality, and that doesn't help. It just adds like another frustrating layer of resistance. So you want to see it as natural to you. That's the first thing. Like, my eyes already do see, like saying to yourself, thinking about it, like my eyes already do see energy. They already do, because that's actually the truth. It's just how much you're not noticing it and how good the brain gets at kind of helping you not noticing it. But your eyes, it's not like something happened to your ability, like it's they're completely capable of seeing the light spectrum. We have to remember how. Practices, I would just recommend what my guides taught me is when you're seeing those particles and stuff, just watch with a gentle curiosity. And if you're not seeing particles, etc. yet, I think a good practice is to maybe pick one thing to focus on, like a crystal or plant, something living, ideally, because it has a bit more of an active aura, usually. And hold it against like a white wall or white paper or something that's clear, or it can be cream, like at least sort of blank. And then you want to look at the object, but you want to look at it with a very gentle focus, and you want to look at the air around it, the air in front of it, I should say. You look at the air in front of it. Imagine that there's something super interesting to look at there. That's going to pull the rest of the things into a bit of an out of focusy way. You can see if I look here, everything over here might go a little out of focus. Then in time, you're going to start to see like little streams. It might look like heat waves on the road. It might look like just moving like grainy stuff. It might look like an emanation coming from the crystal. Whatever you notice, do not dismiss any of it, even if you're like, oh, that was a shadow or whatever. Let that thought be there, and then I affirm, I just saw something. And keep looking with a gentle curiosity and keeping your eyes gentle and soft. even when you're clairvoyant, even if you're well practiced at that, if you don't focus right, you can just tune into the third dimensional energy. So we want to have a gentle curiosity. That's what I would recommend for that. And just don't give up. Just let it be there. I also recommend affirmation with yourself, maybe before you do the exercise. Like, pick ones that feel right for you, like, I can see energy, or seeing energy is natural to me. Something like that, because you want to use the power of your thought and belief to help you and support you. It's a pretty cool power that we have. She was asking, what is this sort of energy in the sky? I think I know what she's talking about. I think a lot of people have seen those little white dots dancing in the sky, and science has some explanation for that. But it is just energy. It is I guess neutral energy is a good way of putting it. My guide is saying that it's the alive life force around you. So, which is consciousness, which is energy, is all sort of the same thing. But then obviously, if it shifts a little bit or something shifts, that'll be something else came into your view. Because there's lots of cool, interesting things in the sky. So, just checking here. We will take one from the chat now as well. Okay. Just scrolling. I'm just trying to make sure I try to take a question from everyone. Althea? Hi, she asked, does my higher self have any messages for me? I will tune in and check. She's talking about going with the flow. And I can feel, as she expresses that, I can feel that that's because you've been in like a constricted state. There's fear and kind of a freeze/fear feeling. But that's why the remedy is flow, actually, which is also obviously the scariest thing for that kind of aspect of ourselves. But yeah, your higher self is saying go with the flow, and not in this like lame cliche way that sounds like. I know that sounds like a cliche. She's talking about the energy of flow, flowing with. That means I flow with life. I flow with the moment before me. It means I say yes to it. You don't have to like it, but it's like I acknowledge that, yes, this is happening, and I choose to be here instead of trying to fight it in some way or disconnect in some way. But also your higher self is talking about flow, like that this is just really an energy that your being needs. So I would also, the recommendation as well is like for you to do something like what I'm doing, like play in kind of your light. Make sure that you're expressing your light. Let that flowing movement come out. Stop suppressing it and fighting it. It's natural to you. Your higher self is saying as well that it's natural to you to be in that state. You've been constricted, so you're so used to it. You're so used to that. But actually, you're kind of the opposite. Okay. Check in the chat. This is so cool, guys. I wish I could see or hear you, though. It's sort of weird. I'm so used to sitting down and seeing and hearing people on sessions, and then no one's here. And okay, just checking. Flowing. Let's flow together. We can all use that advice, I think. Haley says, how can I move forward with my heart's guidance at this time without bypassing my fear? Your guide is saying that you think that you have to solve the fear to be not bypassing it. Does that make sense? So, like, if you move forward and you still have fear, then, "Oh, no, I'm bypassing it." But this is not the best way to think about it because that's not true. You can follow your heart and hold space for your fear. I talk about it like I really like the metaphor of holding the hand of my fear, you know? So that means that you caretake the fear. Maybe you do set aside time to sit with it and be with it and to give it loving presence, but you still also move forward with your heart guidance. And also understand that sometimes when we're called to do something from our heart, but we have fear, it's because doing that will take away the fear. Because if you can get yourself to do it, like that part of you will be like, oh, I am safe. Oh, I am okay. When you have a good experience. But being just gentle and loving with that and holding its hand, that's not bypassing. Bypassing is if you were just like, well, this is just stupid or not even here just to say, I'm confident, I'm going to be great. No, just be real. Like, I'm a bit scared and I'm going to do my heart stuff anyways. So I keep losing where I was, but that's okay. Okay, Haley, I see that you've got a couple of questions. Oh, okay, I found it again. Your guides are also, they're talking about listening to yourself. So listen to yourself. What does that part need to help it feel a bit safer? Like, can you, maybe there's like something comforting. It depends on what your heart guidance is, but maybe there's something comforting that you can wear to imagine holding space for that part. Maybe you do a practice of whatever your heart's asking you to do. Maybe you practice 10 times first. You're caretaking the fear, and that's okay. And your higher self has this like trusting energy. Like she's giving me this, what I call like the spirit guide smile. They just have this like knowing parental, like, my child, like that you're empowered and strong and beautiful, and we just don't know it. Okay, just looking in the chat still. Okay, Carolina is asking, hi Becc, would our Lemurian guides like to tell me something about the role I play on Lemuria, and what's the connection with my role here and now? Okay. Your guide is talking about you being a key player, and then he's kind of just pointing out, like, he's got this energy of like, why aren't you letting yourself think that? Like, admit it. Like, it's basically, you're not letting yourself kind of own it and be like, yeah, I am a leader, or I am this empowered being. Yeah. And even this question is you trying to get like some permission for that, which is completely understandable and makes sense. But let's have the awareness of like, if your guide's doing that, what does that mean? That means that you already are this leader person that you're imagining yourself but fearing yourself to be. I'll just listen further. Ooh. As far as on Lemuria, sacred creator is what I get. And then I feel this sense of, and I see this sense of artistry. And I see you in these like temples, like building and making, it's not just sculpture. I don't know. It's hard to explain. It's like this paint that we don't have. It's not paint, but it's something. But anyway, you are supposed to remember that about yourself. can you remember that inner artistry? And it's going to look like just letting yourself express, and in an intuitive art kind of way, if you've ever thought about that. Can you offer that? How can you express that? And trust in it. Your guides are saying, don't judge it. You always judge it. Like, your expressions of all different kinds. Don't compare, don't judge, let it flow. Yeah, because that type of creation helps people to remember even on just an energetic level. It doesn't have to say like, here's some info about Lemuria. It's just the energy. As I said, we awaken the DNA remembrance. Just reading. Okay, Lisa, Lev is asking about her aura. Let me just check in. It's like a blue, but it's not the dark blue and it's not the sky blue. It's almost in between. Let me just feel, because sometimes that means that there's a mix. Yeah, you're kind of blue, and then there's a secondary, I would call it aquamarine. So as far as auras go, guys, you want to just, yes, there's lots of definitions and things out there, but the energetic color spectrum is much more vast than is typically out there if I do a Google search for aura colors. And it can fluctuate and change as you grow. But so as far as there is kind of a frame for what's typical, but don't let those descriptions limit your understanding. So I wanted to tell you, Lisa, that this coloration for you, the feeling tones are often what's more important. It's very, it's like smooth, it's like water. The aquamarine is very like sparkly, which means this is as pertains to your energy and your personality. Like you can be very just like free, kind of, and bright. Like people might describe you when you are feeling good, as very bright. The blue, the deeper blue, is kind of a depth of wisdom. It's an emotional depth as well. It's a very emotional color. That's also why water is involved, because water pertains to our emotion as well. So let that just be some, everyone's aura is like a whole study in itself, but let that be some info for it. Let yourself sit with it and feel into yourself, like give yourself a reading. You can do that, just through asking the question to yourself and being open. Just checking questions. Okay. I'm gonna just check down on here as well to make sure. Okay, so Sarah, I can see you're in the chat too, but I have your question saved as well. Sarah Reintz, I don't know how to say that. So I'm just going to read one of them that you've got here. Or maybe it's Sarah. Oh no. Sarah's asking, how do I create my own abundance or source of income and stability in that way? Okay. Your guides are saying by tuning in and listening to your inner voice. And what I see and sense with that is it's almost like your heart, it's like this little squeaky inner voice. This is going to sound really weird, but it's like a metaphor, okay? for how much you've been squishing and flattening your own inner voice, your inner truth of like what you have to offer the world, which is what's always tied to our abundance. You are not letting yourself go there. You are not letting yourself be like, okay, this is what I'm going to do. So even with that, it's kind of like the first thing is like you're asking, how can I create? Can you first believe that it's possible for you to create that? It's possible for me to generate my own energy and offerings that are valuable to people. I think that that's the first layer of you allowing that voice to shine. I'm just going to keep listening. You're really scared of being seen, is what your guides are saying. What that they're clarifying that image for me a little bit more of you kind of like under a rock. Yeah, you're really scared of being seen. And that makes it hard for you to receive because obviously receiving is an interaction. So you need to be outward to receive. You already know, like your guides are they're just like, you have so much power within yourself. There's so much like your light power, you're not using it, you're saying that it's wrong and that it should be different, and you're comparing to other people. I would say imagine that there was no one else like on the planet. What would you be doing? What would you want to like give? Our abundance is tied to our giving as well, like because what you came to offer the world. Do you like my mug? It says Crazy Cat Lady. I love it so much, and the cats are wearing glasses. Okay, gonna just check questions. Okay, and Sarah, you wrote in the chat earlier, like you said, like dragons. I don't know what you're talking about, but I want to know. It's really cool. Dragons are really cool. Okay, Symmetry Life asks, are the pains I'm feeling upgrades from spirit? Let's see. They're more like an awareness it's like, you know how people talk about a physical body being a messenger, okay? They're more like an awareness for what you are holding down in yourself. You've been holding yourself down and not acknowledging this pain, so it has to come up to physically express itself, to be like, hey, like we're in pain over here, meaning it starts as emotional pain. I'm just gonna double check your question. So in that way, though, you could call it upgrades from spirit, but probably not in the way that you're understanding it, or the way that I know that terminology is commonly used. It is an upgrade if you would tune into it and provide it with the healing that it needs, which looks like providing loving presence for that. And also first acknowledging that it's okay. Your guide is saying that as best you can to have a relationship of acceptance to its presence. I acknowledge that this is here and it's okay. And if that's not true or real for you, it's okay as well. It's okay that that's frustrating, or you're like, whatever, this hurts, like, but still affirming that intention to find acceptance. Even though acceptance isn't real for me right now, I plan on acceptance. I don't know how, but I intend acceptance. That way you still get to create and direct the creation. Your guide is saying that you're being given an opportunity by it or through it to soften towards yourself, to accept yourself. It's got a lot of acceptance energy. It's about self-acceptance. That's the emotional stuff behind it, is to accept yourself as you are. That's why it comes up as a physical suffering, because you've been really emotionally suffering. And in that way, if you could step into an acceptance of yourself, a radical acceptance, your guide is saying, it is more than an upgrade. Like, I can't even find the words, because it feels like if you were to do that, it feels like such freedom. That's the upgrade that you're kind of looking for as well. I think unconsciously you know that that's sort of beneath this. There's a part of you that knows. Just continuing to check chat. Okay. I know that people have more than one question, but I am gonna keep trying to make sure I give everyone a sort of a turn if we can. Okay, 117 Masters Spartan Dragon Ball Z. Cool. Asks, is there a way to be around an aggressive dog in a flat with one? Oh, that you're in a flat with one. I would like to let it know I'm not a threat and for it to feel that you're safe energetically. Okay. The guys are saying you're not going to be able to control it. And so the first thing is to step out of this way that you want to control it. Not being in denial, like obviously, you know, if I was around a dog that was aggressive, I would wish it were gentle and kind and I felt safe. But even in your attempt to manipulate your energy is just an attempt to manipulate the dog, right? To control them. And your guys are pointing out like it's less coming from like, how can I help this dog? How can I bring it love and peace, more than just, I just want to feel safe. And yeah, it's a different, you see the nuance, it's a different energetic motivation. Even though you might be a mixture, which is normal, and everyone, it's normal for us to have very mixed motivations. It doesn't mean that you're shadowy or anything like that. It's human. But as we graduate in consciousness, we move into purer and purer, kind of just wanting to give or just be, or that type of force or offering. When your guide is saying when you can bring yourself into a harmonic resonance within yourself of like stillness and peace within yourself, this is going to help that mirroring that you're seeing in the dog to lessen. And I must say that I notice that too, you know, with my animals. When I'm stressed, they're stressed. And then I get stressed because they're stressed. So maybe you feel unsafe because the dog is acting unsafe. And it's like this horrible cycle. Animals are really strong energetic mirrors. That's just sort of part of their energetic makeup. So when my cat is stressed or the dog is feeling stressed, even though it makes me stress, I have to bring myself into the opposite energy if I want the situation to be different. And yeah, also to play, like your guide is suggesting with the animal, and with animals in general, actually, they're saying, but also with this particular instance, be playful in yourself. Can you do some play? That's going to help settle the dog as well. And then when you do all those things, then can you come towards the dog with an energy of how can I help you? I would invite you to sit down and just, when you've done all these things, to intuitively sit and see if you can help that dog's life in some way. Dogs and animals, yes, they mirror, but they also always have a reason for what they're doing as well in themselves. And it's often not very obvious to humans, but often it just takes some more listening. And you feel like someone who has that ability to, if you were to open yourself and to get clear, to pick up what maybe other people are not seeing for the dog. Okay, continuing to check. I take a second because you have to scroll back up. Okay. Oh, you're welcome by the beach. I just, as I'm reading, he said thanks for organizing this chat. So welcome, everyone's welcome. Monica says that she hears some little sounds behind me that sound like loving high-dimensional sparkles. Cool. Cool. Just checking. Okay. I will keep covering everyone's multiple questions as long as we all have a turn as well. So there's another one in here. Okay, I'm just going to have a bit more of this. Okay. So Damon asked for the Q&A. He asked, are there beings you work with from Earth, ascended masters as the saying goes? And if so, what are your favorite things they teach you? Examples of these beings like Buddha, Yeshua, Sai Baba, etc. I know, how good is my cat mug? Sorry, someone just said, I love your cat mug. It's so good. It's like one of my favorite things that I own. Are there beings that I work with who would be considered ascended masters? Kuan Yin, I would say. I think some people consider her an ascended master. She definitely falls into that category for me. She's one of my main spirit guides in terms of like that realm or category of your guides. Buddha has popped in here and there as well, the more that I've been practicing lately, especially meditation and kind of using some elements of Buddhism as a frame for that, but also coming into awareness of the lifetimes that I've had as a Buddhist monk, or whatever you call that type of person, which is why I was drawn to that Buddhism type of stuff. But ultimately, it's all about peace for me. So yeah, what are my favorite things that they teach me? Buddha kind of pops in when I'm doing the meditation or when I have been kind of fighting with my emotional inner disturbances and trying to find peace. Like, I'll give you the powerful thing was maybe a year ago or something, when I was still kind of struggling to understand peace and flow and these things that my spirit really yearned for. I had a vision of the Buddha and under the famous Bodhi tree, and it was also just an energetic communication, and I was shown that he didn't do anything when this enlightenment happened. It was when I was learning about enlightenment and what it is, and I was really wanting it, kind of. He showed me that in that moment, or what we would call the moment of enlightenment, it didn't do anything in like his thoughts or his energy or anything. It was an arrival to, this is here. That's one of my favorite things that I've been taught from that guide and any guides. The thing is that your guides work in cohesion, so I could say it's from Buddha, but it's from like all of them and my spirit as well. but to just arrive at, this is here. So if you have like a sadness or a pain or something, at the time I was really, really suffering with really severe trauma and flashbacks of really strong abuse, and I just kept falling into like I can't function. And it was freedom for me to be able to approach. They were showing me that I needed to approach what arose in me with an energy of, this is here. It's just to settle into it and just to be like, this is here. I'm not going to try to fix it. I'm not going to do anything to it. I'm not going to try to move away from it. This was the next piece of the information was, this is here. It is neither pulling away from or pushing towards. It's the middle place. And so I started saying to myself, I'm neither pulling away nor pushing towards when something would get activated. I neither push away nor pull towards. This is, it is here. And that is what allowed enlightenment to happen for the Buddha and anyone who arrives at an enlightened state. It is to meet with everything in yourself and in the moment, basically. This is here. And because what that does is you are in complete non-resistance, energy moves through you, the distortion or whatever you were grappling with is not able to move through, and you release it. And then you're just left with the light beneath your soul that you are, which is that stillness and joy of being and all those things. So yeah, that was a really beautiful and freeing thing from Buddha for me. Kuan Yin also helps me. She's very about compassion, and she helped me understand my consciousness as well, that beings like her and me have a lotus consciousness. In terms of consciousness is set up like energetic blueprints, like so some people, you could call it like a spiral consciousness, and if you look at a certain part of their energy, it is spiral shaped. My guide's saying incarnational. So they're helping me. What they're saying is like that the way that the consciousness unfolds into the physical life has a blueprint. So some people, there's a spiral-like nature to their unfoldment. The unfoldment of the spirit, which is just all that you see around you, their life is an unfoldment of that same spirit, because we are creating. Ooh, and then I get that feeling of non-separation. It's wow. And some people have a spiral, some people have a different pattern. I have a lotus consciousness. So that's why I find myself again and again in a constant state of unfoldment. So and it's like it looks like a lotusy, flower of life-y type of pattern. But if you understand the lotus, you understand that it's thought of as 1,000 petals. And Kuan Yin embodied that consciousness as well, so that she could give love in the waters of compassion. The water around her is the tears that she has cried, and it's the compassion. And she helped me because the tears that I had cried, it was when I was trying to understand why the really deep suffering and abuse had happened to me, and why I kept falling back again and again into like humanness. And I would have these extreme enlightenment states and then fall into extreme opposite. And she showed me that that's exactly what the lotus consciousness does, that it folds out into, like if this is the center and then there's like a petal, it goes out into the furthest reaches of light and understanding consciousness, like light, enlightenment, etc. Oh, I got that backwards. It goes the furthest out into the humanness, so the separation from the center, the furthest out that it can into understanding humanness through pain and separation, which is what pain is, and then returning again to God, and then going out as far as it can again, and returning again to God. And when it does that, she's brought light out into all the humanness. the light that was here, that she brought it out, and then she also brings the understanding and the compassion to the Godhead. So Kuan Yin really helped me, and that's to understand why my life path has been what it is, and will continue to be that way. I am someone that has extremes of emotion and unfoldment because I am making that bridge of light. That's what my soul wanted to do, and that's what creates peace as well. To be able to flow in that, to bring that this is here and that peace again and again. Okay. I'm looking to the chat and your messages. Yes. Good. I'm glad that helps you, Monica. Oh, Sarah's talking about when she wrote Black Dragons, and I was like, what? She's talking about when I was talking about cool things in the sky. She was like, oh, like dragons. Okay. Yes, totally like dragons. Okay, so now most people, I've taken one question from everyone I can see in the chat, I think. So, oh, no, wait. There's one from Troy now. I think there wasn't one before. Troy said, oh, and hi, Troy. I'd like to ask about working with Earth's crystalline grid to repair the Atlantean damage/schism and my immediate role within that. It's a really good question. Okay. Your guides are talking about, there's a few pieces here. So first I see like you with the crystals in your hands, that you work with the crystals. And then an affirmation that you're on point with what your soul wants to kind of offer, especially at this time. Your guides are talking about thinking about the energy that you provide to be not a force. So when in this vision, when I see you kind of putting the crystals down in like this forest area, it's kind of just an example or a metaphor to understand. In this vision, when you're doing it, there are these little ropes, little tones of anger or frustration and force because of the way that you feel about that schism, the way that you feel, and some aspects of you feel towards like the damage to the earth and the lostness, like there's still this unfelt stuff that is going into your grid work a little bit, or if you were to do this particular grid work. So what your guides are offering is a vision, instead of you placing these crystals down in this beautiful foresty area, very very gently, let all that you do in this be gentle. And you may find that you have some of the opposite frequencies that need to arise first, and I see you kind of making some sacred space for that. I see you connecting to the part of yourself that remembers that in a kind of very sacred, I'm going to sit here and I'm going to meet with this way. And I see you in this like cool, like triangle shaped thing. I don't know if you have one of those. What do you call those things that people have that are like, oh my gosh, guys. People make these like copper pyramids to kind of sit in, for example, or they'll put like an energy something here. Anyway, I think it's an indication of this sacred space that you're going to offer yourself. Do that, knowing that that helps the collective as well, especially as you relate to those lives that you had. Then doing the grid work and how specifically for you to be doing that. Your guides are just telling you to trust your intuition. Go to the places, the land that calls you, and place crystals down on there. Do grid work there. And lasting energy, they keep repeating lasting energy. So even though you take a set of crystals, and you set up the grid and you do your thing, which I know that you can do, Troy, is just to channel what needs to come through for that point in the earth. When you pack up your crystals, understand that you're leaving that energy. Okay. I'm just checking that. Okay, Hilton Hatima said, I had a question toward the top of the chat if you have time to address it. Much love. Okay, I do apologize if I've missed stuff. It's possible that the chat is actually cut itself off, maybe from when I actually came on. I don't see your question. Can you please type your question again for me and put it in the chat there? Because when I go to the top of the chat, it's just, yeah, I'm not seeing more of you there, but I would like to. So, okay, when that question comes through for me on the chat, I will address it. Gonna keep looking. I'm also gonna check this as well. Okay, so we'll just take a question from here. So Mirsham or Miriam, I can't say your name, I'm sorry, has asked, does every soul have the intention of awakening, and do we choose the time of our awakening before we come here? Let's see. The guys are saying no, and I was like, they're saying that it's not that black and white. Basically, it's not that black and white. My guide is saying that every soul has an incarnational intention to wake up. The level of awakening can be different. The opportunity behind that intention is always available. So it's not like they put a limit on, okay, like I'm 1000% not going to wake up from my 3D self at all in this life. They may embody a very 3D life so as to get whatever that spirit is wanting to learn from that, and that may result in not waking up to spiritual consciousness to whatever degree, but your spirit is the guider of it at all times. Your spirit is going to help you choose, and also you have free will, even with the embodied self, even with the higher self being sort of playing out through you. That's the game here, is that we have free will. So it's more like it's always an active choice for each of us. And some lives will kind of be set up to make it a bit harder or make it less about that and make it more 3D. Yeah, it's less about awakening. It's more about, am I going to have a spiritual life or am I not going to? That's definitely sort of decided. So, it just depends on the person. Okay, just looking for the question. Okay, Hilton Hatima, I still can't see your question. I would like to, yeah, I want to honor that. Just checking. Vilti saying, did you address my question? I did address one of your questions. I'm taking one question from everyone, even though we've got a few. Yes, I did address it, Vilti. Wait, Hilton, I can see your question now. Oh, I did miss it. You're so right. I'm sorry. Okay. So Hilton Hatima asks, Dear Becc, I was half asleep, awake, and saw what appeared to be turquoise crystals, also a turquoise triangle. A few other visuals and the words, this is your center. What does it all mean? Love to you. Well, I would say that you got the answer. this is your center. So one of those questions that are like, well, girl, you kind of already know. But I understand. So let's tune in a little bit more. Your guides are saying that you had been kind of asking for or looking for a home within yourself, just something to kind of have in your awareness to anchor to. And it arrived to you at that time because in that state, in that dreamlike state, we're more kind of, it's not that your intuition is more, because your intuition is always on. It's we're more consciously aware of it and open to it. Is in our awareness more. Yes, and the turquoise crystals, your guide's saying that they're a part of you, they're a part of you. It's almost like, if we think of soul family, we can think of that in many different ways, but ultimately your soul family is, you have like an oversoul. So you have like your you soul, and then you have an oversoul, and that will have more souls in it. And it's, as you go up the dimensional layers, things become more like a group consciousness until we're all like the same one soul of oneness. So at a certain point, there's something we could call an oversoul. And that when you feel that resonance, that's what we are like, oh, this is my soul family. It's that there's a shared consciousness at some point. And those crystals are part of that shared consciousness, these crystal beings that came to you then. You could see them as like soul family. But also the thing about soul family, not every layer of it, but for you, that particular layer, it's almost like it's a part of your higher self. And basically those crystals are you. Just like your spirit guides are aspects of your higher self, even though they're like their own sort of being, ultimately and actually it's you. It's your higher self, your soul. Yes, so those tones and the colors and all of that of turquoise crystals, those beings, they're with you because they are you, but also because you could think of them as like guides, but also because they're answering that call that you had in yourself of I need like something sacred to anchor into. So now you do. That's the cool thing. You have that center that you were looking for. So I suppose the invitation is for you is to, when we have visions, everyone, when we have a vision like that or something magical happens, the invitation is usually for us to re-access that. So it's like, okay, here's the crystals, here's your center. So now when you want that center, go within, imagine or remember that experience of the crystals, and just have an intention of I am in my center. So you see how the experience helps you to helps you to align to that energy again. It's like it comes in to teach you a frequency to hold, then you have to pick up from there and you learn to kind of generate it within yourself through the teaching of that experience. That's the same thing with like sacred medicines. Like if you're like, whoa, I had this really cool magical experience on ayahuasca, and then you might be left feeling like I can't access it again, or enlightenment experiences. The invitation is for us to realize that that energy is always available to us, and now it's been kind of dropped into our consciousness. It's going to be a little easier through remembering that experience and just embracing it in yourself again. Okay. Haley said, I would love to know whether the writings that you do are coming from your higher self or guides. I'm just tuning into you to check. Yes, they are. They're coming from your higher self / your guides. Remember what I just said is helpful, that your guides are your higher self. But your guides also saying that you have a little bit of doubt mixed in when you're doing it. So I don't know if you're finding yourself kind of stopping and starting and looking back at it and just maybe being in a little bit of judgment. It is, yeah, it is. That's how our higher self and all of that works. Like, this is just a way for that energy to flow into you and to communicate with you. It's like a self-communication system. It's very interesting. Yeah, it is your higher self for guides, and it's going to keep flowing the more that you allow and trust in it. So let the thought that it isn't go. Let that go and trust in it. Just checking the chat and the time. We'll probably start closing soon. Okay. I know that there are more questions. We may not have gotten to all of them, but I'm so glad for your being here and your connection. I think maybe I should just let the guides speak a little bit more for this last area, last point of time. I think that the guides want to close with just speaking on the kind of like the fear that's come up recently for everybody. That's what Gabrielle was kind of very strong in that. I think they just kind of want us to leave with that awareness. So I'm going to really tune in for a moment and share that with you. They're saying, beings of light do not need to be afraid. Beings of light are real and true, forthright and honest within themselves. And because of that, you will know what to do in every step. You will know who you are the more that you remember yourself. Use this time as an awakening out of illusion. And I see a vision here of each of us kind of almost stepping out of this secondary skin that we've had, and armor also that we had been wearing. See clearly and accurately with the eyes of love and the truth of spirit. There is so much chaos and noise because it has been thought of as real. When you see how false this is, you awaken into the eyes of truth. Become one with nature. Remember yourselves in nature together. Let the earth teach you and guide you. Letting her waves of being, waves of emotion and light flow. There is not so much something that you have to do, as in there is something you have to be. Being the stillness, being the peace, being the remembrance. You are the sacred creator of your life. The world may be in flux, and that is what you are sensing. And uncertainty is an uncomfortable state of being, only for humans who do not trust in their own waking nature. Align yourself to this again and again, and you will see the fruition of your dreams. You will see the earth light play out. This is playing out. You are the light people of Gaia. Remember who you are. Remember your strength. That is natural and ease filled with grace. You are the light that you are seeking. You are the light. So guys, that was Angel Gabriel and also one of my Elohim guides. And I'll just share with you what I was, as I said, when I channel, I get visions as well sometimes to further the message. And it was like, and this has happened before as well, in the recent time, regarding the recent time period, is that I see individuals, but I also am seeing like the meridians. Like imagine like the chakra system, and if you've ever seen like those acupuncture meridian maps or something. So these meridians along and in our body, our energetic pathways, okay? These, in the vision I was seeing, was a person who that was lighting up, and they were sort of sitting in a beautiful area in the earth. But also the earth's meridians were lighting up. These are what some people call ley lines. I believe that and the message that came through now, and this vision that I meant to share earlier about the ley line stuff and what we're supposed to do, all of it is about embodying the light and also going to the places that you feel called on the earth. Understanding that the meridians in your body, they come from the earth. We are the earth. We are the same. Her ley lines are my ley lines. My meridians are her meridians. So there's a resonance. You can actually use, I love the word, I call it my intuitive GPS. You can use your kind of etheric body, your clairsentience. It may come to you just as a knowing or a pull, anything, to go to the places in the earth, in the world, that may be local to you or far away. At the present time, probably local. And to just go there and let yourself, your intuition, choose where you're drawn to. Sit upon the earth and just be, meditate, and hold a connection for planetary alignment. When we say that statement, it's not just the earth alignment in a 3D-ish way at all. It's for me to align with the planet, for these ascension energies that she is offering, the remembrance that the guides were talking about. It's embedded in the earth, it's embedded in our energy. If we want to have a more ease-filled transition, we can help that by intentionally, consciously vibrating at the same tones as the earth. Like, sure, I can just sort of sit around and be affected by it, as we all are being affected by it. But also, if I love the earth and I love humanity and I want more of an ease-filled experience too, I'm going to go and sit with the earth and sit in that place of nature, the natural world where we remember who we are with ease, to have just a bit of an easier time. If I'm already vibrating at the earth, it's not like the discord, meaning when the earth shifts, we have to match the vibration. If we don't match the vibration, whatever doesn't match will come out to be purified. So that's the fear or grief or whatever comes up. So obviously, if I go and I intentionally connect with the earth and I try to vibrate where she is, I don't have to have such a rough time with that. Anything in me that doesn't resonate may still come up. So when you do that process, you may experience an emotional release of some kind, but you're going to be doing it in this very sacred, beautiful, connected to your light way. Okay, not just like stuff happening. This is going to do that. And when we do that, we help the earth as well, because the huge problem has been that humans are not in harmony. We're not living in harmony with the earth. And I think that this period right now, we are transitioning into an awareness that we have to live in harmony with the earth. We have to get that the way that I vibrate affects her and her vibration affects me. And we cannot be asleep anymore about remembering who we are. We can't just be like, yeah, I'm going to live my life and do my thing. And we've been asleep to how interconnected we are. We've been asleep to how much unity consciousness has to become the reality now. Okay, so all the changes that you could think of that can make that an easier transition, practice those. Being kind to the earth, doing group healings, and if you feel called to do that, communing with the earth. Even all of this, a lot of this is just on an energetic level. So, like, I don't want you to feel like you don't have any instruction. That's the thing, is that we don't need it. What the guides are asking us to do is just to attune to the energy. Attune to the energy, because then it becomes individualized. Some people might have more to release than others. Some people have a slightly different light offering, the positive thing that they can be doing, or direction they can be helping the earth with. But if we all attune, at least, and we start there, we awaken peace and unity and harmony into the world. And the guides are suggesting that you vibrate at the tones that you wish this world to be. Hold space for sacred space for any fear that arises, but understand also they were speaking of illusion. That fear is really an illusion. It makes sense. You want to validate, like it makes sense that it's come up. Like it's not like the best time. This isn't a great experience. We're not in denial, but okay, what is truth? Truth comes from heart information. Truth comes from light. The lower dimensional levels, the chaos on the planet, all of that, it's kind of like it's trying to, it's trying to resonate at illusion to get you to buy into illusion. But the shifts happen when we don't buy into it. We say, I know my truth and I know what love is. Love isn't like the world is going to fall apart. If I believe that, I can acknowledge that fear without believing it. This is here. That's a fear that is seemingly in me. Okay, how can I help that part of myself? Doing your inner work that you've probably already been doing, shadow work, and then also aligning to the light. Take care of yourself. Understand that so much of what we're seeing right now, I think the guides are pointing that out more fully, is like, I can't tell you, just even from my perspective, how much is just illusion. Like, yes, stuff is happening, but stuff is being exaggerated. Stuff is being manipulated. Your heart center, your center is the place for you to get your information and to check anything that you receive outside of you, like, from a teacher like me or whoever you listen to. Check it against your heart and align with empowerment that you're a sacred creator being. And that we all are peace and we can all embody peace energy. It's already natural to you. It's already what you are. We just want to make room for it. So, okay, I think that I'm going to end the live stream soon now. And I just want to say thank you all so much for connecting and for being here. And I'm probably going to do more of these regularly, at least more of the light language thing. And I'm very flow, so we'll just see how we go. But this is my light offering right now, is to just be doing these group gatherings. That's why I called it Song of Light. Before all of this, I was about to start physical group gatherings in my area. Now I'm just going to do it here. And we're going to connect, and we're going to bring peace and light together on a regular basis. So when you can attend, please attend. I'm going to try to get a better webcam one of these days. That's on my list. Also, so you know, I do still offer sacred sessions for people, personal channeling for your spirit guides to connect directly with them and your angels. Sacred session can be used for light language healing, energetic healing, psychic clarity and guidance. I also offer medical intuitive sessions as well, because I have the ability to kind of see past the skin and see a lot. And that's a special type of clairvoyance that is very weird, I guess, but very, very helpful if you've got weird stuff going on in your body and you don't know what's going on. Yeah, I say all that because I know that some businesses are just like, oh, some people have been a bit confused as to whether I'm open, but definitely here, available online. And yeah, I hope that I meet each of you one of these days. And thank you so much for tuning in. And I can see all your messages of thank you and compliments. Thank you. You're all so welcome. Oh, hi, Layla. Cool. Okay. All right. Thank you, everybody. Carry the light, hold the light, be the light. You are the light.